I welcome you all in the module 2 of this MOOC program. Now I start with chapter 4, that is conservation equations and analysis of finite control volume. Now in this chapter we'll discuss about the system, then the type of systems, conservation of mass, continuity equation in different forms, strain rate, etc. Now to start with the continuity equation, we should understand what the system is. A system is a quantity of matter in space which is analyzed during a problem. Surroundings means everything, whatever is external to the system, that considers as surrounding. System boundary is nothing but the separation present between system and surrounding. Now we divide the system boundary into two types. One is called real solid boundary, another is the imaginary boundary. Real solid boundary, we really face this and this will be available. But imaginary boundary, that we can take anywhere, wherever we want to distinguish between the system and surrounding. The system boundary may be further classified as fixed boundary or control mass system. Fixed boundary means you cannot alter the boundary of that control mass. But in case of moving boundary, you can move it, keep on moving as per the convenience. Now this figure shows the system and the boundary. Now there are three types of system. One is called control mass system. This is also called as closed system. The control volume system is open system and the isolated system is completely isolated from the environment. In case of control mass system, there will be no mass flow from the system to the surrounding. But in case of control volume, this is the open system, the mass and the energy transfer both will take place. But in case of isolated system, neither mass nor energy transfer is possible. Now, under the control mass system, it's a system of fixed mass and fixed identity, and this type of system is usually referred as the closed system. There is no mass transfer across the boundary and the energy transfer may take place into or out of the system. Now when we talk about open system, it's a fixed volume. This is the type of system generally referred as the open system or a control volume. And this type of open system is normally real picture. It gives the real picture. Mass transfer can take place across a control volume. Energy transfer may also occur in or out of the system. The control volume can be seen as a fixed region across which mass and energy transfers are studied. The control surface, it is the boundary of a control volume across which the transfer of both mass and energy takes place. The mass of a control volume may or may not be fixed. When the net influx of the mass across the control surface equals 0, then the mass of the system is fixed and vice versa. The identity of mass in a control volume always changes, unlike the case of a control mass system, and most of the engineering applications are actually open system. Now we can discuss about the case of heat exchanger. Fluid enters and leaves the system continuously and the transfer of heat across the system boundary. This is the case of the control volume where the mass can be mass in, mass out will be there. There is the boundary, there is the energy in and the energy out, and this is the most real system in case of engineering. Now as far as the isolated system is concerned, it is a system of fixed mass with same identity and fixed energy. No interaction of mass or energy takes place between the systems and the surroundings. In more informal words, an isolated system is like a closed shop amidst a busy market, but practically you won't find completely isolated system. Now coming to the conservation of mass, that is the continuity equation. This equation has great importance in fluid mechanics. So here we'll be discussing about the application and the derivation part of the continuity equation. The law states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Conservation of mass is inherent to a control mass system and it is a closed system. The mathematical expression for the above law, we can say when we are not creating any mass, etc. So we can say that it is delta m by delta t is equal to 0, where m is the mass of the system. Now, here actually when we talk about any system, the mass at which the Rate at which the mass enters is equal to rate at which mass leaves the system plus the mass accumulated in the region. Or you can other way call rate of accumulation of mass in the control volume plus net rate of mass efflux from the control volume, that is equal to 0. So in case of continuity equation, the above statement expressed analytically in terms of velocity and density field of a flow, and it is known as equation of continuity. Now this is the fixed region as the control volume. The mass of the fluid enters the region and the mass of the fluid leaves the region, and whatever will remain inside the system, that will be the accumulated part. Now that we will take into this consideration. Now for the derivation part, the point at which continuity equation has to be derived is enclosed by an elementary control volume. Now this is one control volume. Now here the influx and efflux and the rate of accumulation of mass is calculated across each surface within the control volume. Now here you can say this phase, here the fluid moves with a velocity u, so mass enters with u velocity is equal to rho u dy dz. Dy dz is this area, this surface area, and mass leaving the system will become, because the density also changes, so this become rho plus del rho by del x into dx equal to u plus del u by del x into dx into dy dz. Because as the flow changes, u velocity also changes and density also changes. So at this particular phase, we are taking density as rho. At other phase, there is a change in the density with reference to x. So it is becoming rho plus del rho by del x into dx, and as well as velocity is also changing. Here it is u, and another side it is u plus del u by del x into dx. Now similarly we can talk about the z direction and the y direction. Now if we talk about the complete net efflux of mass along x-axis, it must be the excess outflow over inflow across phases normal to x-axis. So if I talk about how much is the excess, then the rate of mass leaving the control volume through phase EFGH is actually rho plus del rho by del x into dx into u plus del u by del x into dx dy dz. If we'll simplify it and neglecting the higher order term of dx, then we will get rho u plus del by del x into rho u into dx. Now similarly, influx and efflux take place in all y and z direction, and the rate of accumulation for a point of flow field, it is equal to del m by delta t. In terms of density, we can write this as delta by delta t into rho dv, and this will become del rho by delta t into dv. Now using rate of influx, rate of accumulation plus rate of efflux can be written as this equation. This is the influx coming to the system, and this is the accumulated part, and this part is the mass leaving the system. Now transferring everything to the right side, we'll get this equation, and after simplifying we'll get del rho by del x, del rho by delta t plus del by del x into of rho u plus delta by delta y of rho v plus delta by delta z of rho w into dv equal to 0. And this equation is actually continuity equation for the compressible fluid in a rectangular Cartesian coordinate system. Now if you want to simplify it further for the incompressible flow, in that case we can consider rho as the constant, and we'll keep outside. After that we'll simplify it. So this is the general equation. If we want to write in the vector form, you can write del rho by delta t plus del by del x of unit vector I plus delta by delta y of j plus delta by delta k of k, and this is actually the vector notation for this product of density into velocity. So in common form we can write it as a del rho by del t plus del dot rho v equal to 0, but v is actually the velocity vector and depends upon the three components of the velocity in u direction, v direction and the w direction. So this will become v is equal to ui plus vj plus wk, and this is actually the velocity of the point. Now in case of steady flow, this term will automatically become 0. So we can simplify this further. So for a steady flow, del operator of rho v equal to 0. In a rectangular coordinate system, then the equation for the steady flow will be del by del x of rho u plus del by del y of rho v plus del by del z of rho w is equal to 0. Now further, if we'll take the case of incompressible flow, rho will be constant, so del rho by delta t equal to 0. So moreover, we can write del dot rho v equal to rho into del dot v, and if you will simplify this, we'll get it as del u by del x plus del v by del y plus del w by del z equal to 0. So in cylindrical coordinate also we can derive this, and the strain rate component can also be written as epsilon xx plus epsilon yy plus epsilon zz, because this is nothing but the strain rate. So this equation is also the form of the continuity equation. Now in case of closed system approach also you can derive it, so there is no difficulty in that because dm by dt is equal to 0. So you just simplify it in terms of density and volume, you'll get this, and after that if you will further simplify, you'll get the same equation whatever we have already got. Now, so in general, this is del rho by del t plus del dot rho b equal to 0. Now this equation, if we talk about the physical significance, it shows whether the flow is possible or not. Like suppose for incompressible flow, if I write, suppose u is equal to x square y and b equal to say x into y, and if somebody asks that whether this flow field is possible or not, so what we will do that we'll find out delta u by delta x and we'll find out delta v by delta y. We'll sum it up and whatever is coming, that will be equal to. So this is all about my lecture. Thank you.